performed a lot better than what the show portrayed me as. But that were a narrative they went with, because that's how Law Sugar fired me. So obviously they had to make a story out of that. But I got involved a lot with it. I did well on my sales, which they didn't show. I did really well as a project manager, but they made it look like I can't lead a team.
Levi, Tan, thank you so much for coming on.
Cheers for having us.
Thank you, Micah, yes.
So just for anyone who doesn't know, you're 2 candidates on The Apprentice.
That's right.
And you know, got to various stages of the process, and it's now really nice to have you here.
No, thank you for having us.
Likewise, yeah, thank you.
So tell me a bit about your entrepreneurial drive and why you applied to go on the show.
So I think growing up, I've always just had quite a curiosity about the world, and I think there's a great quote by Steve Jobs, and he says, everything around us has been built by people no smarter than us, and we should just bounce off the walls and try and shape the world a bit and mold it. And I think I probably realized that as a kid, right? As a kid, I was always just wanting to try things and put them out in the world. And for example, making like a magazine out of just like paper and drawings when I was 6, and thinking I could take this to Tesco's and sell it. Obviously I couldn't, but it's just that thought that I can build anything, put it out into the world. And then growing up, I've got fond memories of as being a kid and going around with friends, knocking on doors, offering to wash people's cars, bins, doors. We built a go-kart out of woods and went around knocking on doors saying, we can take your kids around for a £5, we can take them around the block. So it's all just little things, and that excited me. And then as I got older, I got into tech and the digital world, and everything's at your fingertips with the internet. You can make a website, you can drop ship, you can do loads of things. And I think it was just that desire to put stuff out into the world, curiosity about, you know, what do people want, understanding that, and I think it just went from there.
Really interesting. Then applying for The Apprentice, going through the audition process, and then going on the show. Please tell me about those stages, your experience, what you learned about the process, and if it is what people say it is.
Oh, that's a tough one, that one. I think watching The Apprentice, in fact, could I talk about my entrepreneurial drive?
Of course.
If you don't mind. So yeah, I think with me, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I don't know if I always say it wrong, but I get that anyway. I've always wanted to be one. From when I was a young age, like Tanny, I think you have it in you, and I think you know what you want to do. It's just how to get there. And I think for me, with my little quaint is I can spot like niches. So like again, when I'm about 8 years old, I'd doing knockoff DVDs and CDs on estate until my mum and my dad realised and gave me a clip round here, told me it were illegal. I was like, oh, better nip that in bud. So then it went to like Tan did car washing, then we did like cutting grasses, you know, stuff like that, just little things you can get your hands on to try and make a bit of money. And then when I was at school, people were selling milkshakes, so I got onto that as well, selling stuff in school. So I think you got it in you, haven't you, from like a young age, if you want to be an entrepreneur. I think as you get older, you lose that, and you just get into you go to school, finish school, go and get a job, and then try and sort yourself out with your own 2 feet, like stand on your own 2 feet. That's what I meant to say there. And I think again, well, for me anyway, I lost that. I lost it all. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So when I was flip-flopping job to job, I went and joined the RAF. I thought, I'm not flipping to job, sorry. I'm going to join RAF, actually get a career. But then I think that's when I got the little drive back again to be an entrepreneur, to start my own business. And so I started my own clothing line called Mirror Me Clothing. So I wanted, whatever I wear, my kids could wear the exact same clothes. That didn't take off. I had to buy an ottoman bed because I had 2,000 t-shirts that I had to stick under. You know, one of the beds that you lift up, because I couldn't have anywhere to put them. So that failed. But all the mistakes I learned from there has helped me now massively with my business now, living forever memories. And like I say, I enjoy what I do now. And to apply on The Apprentice, I don't know about you, Tam, but I've watched it probably from like season 16 when were you?
I remember watching it as a kid, so
did you?
Season 10, and then I watched it for like 5-6 years, and then stopped watching it for a bit. Yeah,
it were a bit of it weren't really allowed to be watched in our house for some reason, and so obviously when I were at RAF and that, I had my own telly, went and watched it on there, and all years I thought I could apply for that, I could do that. Anyway, went out with lads round Leeds, got drunk, And I thought, got back home, had a cup of tea, and I thought, I'm applying for Apprentice here. Both applied for it, got onto the first application zone, and then, yeah, away we go. Now got onto a show. But yeah, I think watching it on TV is a lot easier than actually being on show.
Well, yeah, I guess to some extent, I think watching it was harder because you're just thinking, what are these clowns doing? But then when you realise you actually get on, a lot of it is harder than it looks.
Yeah, definitely.
It was more fun being on it than obviously watching it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because, you know, in all my previous interviews, I talked about the 4 a.m. starts.
Yep.
You know, the long filming days, the hours that you have to put in, not being able to see your family very often.
Yeah.
No clocks in the house.
That was tough for me because I just had a 4-month-old daughter when I left as well, so that was really tough. 1 10-minute phone call a week, and that can only be to like either like your business partner, your wife, or your kids, whatever, your mum and your dad. So yeah, I found it pretty tough. I thought I'd handle it better than I did. There were like personal things going off like with my family as well when I was in the house, so it was like a bit of a more stress put on. And obviously not seeing my little girl when she was 4 months old and only seeing photos now and again, it were pretty tough. But yeah, like, how did you find the 4 a.m. starts, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, typically 4 a.m. is a bit of a push, but I enjoyed the bubble we were in. I enjoyed this whole disconnect from the regular life.
I agree
and
with that.
they took your phones away, and I really got used to it in a way. It was nice when we're in Hong Kong and they put you in a hotel. Usually when you're in a hotel, you can entertain yourself. All I had was a book. They took the TV remotes away.
Yeah.
Don't know what time it is. Don't know what time we have to move. And okay, well, I can actually sit down and just be present. And at first, it's a bit uncomfortable to do that because you're so used to being glued to a device or distracting yourself. But then after a while, it feels quite nice. And then there were so many moments of just pure zen in that house. You got nowhere to be.
Like you say, you were present, weren't you? You weren't stuck to your phone or anything. That's the one thing I do miss. In a way, is like you had no responsibilities. They told you when to get up, when to go to bed. In a way, didn't they?
Yeah.
What you needed to wear for next day. It were very like no responsibility, no like say no phones and that. And then suddenly when you come into outside world, it's like I'll admit I found it hard to transition back into the dad role. So as soon as I think I left on a Friday or a Saturday, we booked an holiday Sunday, we were flying Monday. But it were a good idea at the time. But then when you're in the hotel room with your missus and like a 4-month-old, I'm like, this is back into deep zone for me again. Like there were no like transition slowly into it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree. It was nice not having the responsibility, but it's also nice having a family.
I think it helps, even just those little things. It helps you enjoy the little moments more.
Yeah.
Waking up and having a coffee never felt so good on a day off. I've never enjoyed a coffee that much in my life. Going to the shops, that was the best day ever. I felt I was going to a theme park.
Yeah, so you're right there.
You enjoy the little moments more when you are disconnected like that.
So on average, when you're in the house, what would your day look like when you're filming? Like, what would you normally eat? What would you normally, do when you're in the house?
So whatever time they wanted to get you up in the morning, you had to get straight up. It is 20 minutes to get ready. But in that 20 minutes, then you got to go downstairs, get your mic on. So obviously then it causes a bit of a backlog. So it is 20 minutes, but some people, if you're slow, you get a bit more time because obviously with a backlog, then they bring all the sandwiches to you as well. So with people who are like, who wanted halal or kosher, or just with veggie, vegan, they brought that type of food for you as well. So everybody were having a good meal before we went out. And then it was just straight mics on, straight into filming, weren't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Intense.
So I think all the filming days varied, right? Depends on the first day of the task. You're often up a bit earlier. You're meeting Lord Sugar on that day. But yeah, I think we're very well looked after. Levi mentioned, bring the food with you, coffee whenever you want, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Until it got to the end of season, budget must have been running a bit low because it turned into a bit of a what do you call freeze dried coffee, instant coffee, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at first we're getting all like Starbucks and that, weren't they?
Yes, yeah, nice ice matcha.
And was it just sandwiches, or did you get to eat like hot things too?
From what I remember, a bit of both. I remember breakfast sometimes was a sandwich, and then they had these they would have hot meals delivered on certain tasks, I think. But yeah, I wasn't too worried about the food. I was enjoying the whole process while I was there. And you're often going between locations, and it's intense, right? You come home, everyone's shattered, and you're trying to. Well, I was trying to read the other candidates' faces. Like, how's things gone? Do they look like they've done well? Do they look like they've not? But everyone's facing the same. Everyone's just shattered by the time they're home, and
Bed.
that's part of it.
That's all I wanted, weren't it? Bed.
And what did you learn about yourselves from the process? Because you're there for a period of time. You're interacting with the other candidates. You're on different tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So just tell me a bit about, what you learned about yourselves from the process.
Yeah, I think we all of us are so different in terms of candidates, which suggests that they're not looking for one particular thing. I think they're looking for that breadth, and so they must be looking for somebody who's going to obviously make a good storyline, but each one of us has something different, which is which they wanted to put into this story. So I think that helps instill a belief that you obviously have a lot to give, a lot to show to the world. And I think going on the show just makes you feel you can actually just do anything after that.
Yeah.
If you go on national television, what can't you do after that? I'm thinking of running for Prime Minister next, so...
Yeah. But yeah, I agree there, Dan, because you work with with so many people with so many different skill sets or backgrounds and that. It's learning how to work with them people, what they're good at, where, if you're a project manager, where would you put them, where would you position, know what I mean, like, to get the best out of your team. So yeah, I think within myself, I needed to be more confident with myself. Normal when I'm up north with mates and that, I'm like, yeah, I've got this sort of thing. But when I come down south and we're like thrown into deep end, and all these people, and they're educated, they know what they're on about. Do you know what I mean? They're good. People are all good in their own way. I started like putting myself in a box a little bit. Instead of being like confident and being out there, I stood myself back a bit, and that's something I've never done, and I won't be doing again. Because I feel like I put myself in a box, penalising myself when I shouldn't have. And that's something I've definitely learned.
And it was really interesting because during your boardroom showdown with Lawrence, a lot happened.
Yeah.
I know you got a lot of stick online.
Yeah. What
exactly happened, and was there really a World War III argument, as the media says that there was?
No. So, on that, Lawrence told me he weren't going to bring me back into the boardroom, and I'm a man of my word. If I say something, I stick to it.
Right.
And I felt like, because Low Sugar were like pushing to bring me back, Lawrence went against what he said himself and brought me back. So that instantly made me a bit, as if you just done that. If you can go back to me, I think, if you can go back on your word, what else could you do against me? That's how I think in my head. I think it's just with like where I've been brought up, like bit of childhood, bit of trauma in a way. I always think, if you can go back on your word, what else can you do against me? So I suddenly not keen on that person. And we got back in taxi, and I said, look, Lawrence, I appreciate you bringing me back. So you showed me another side to Low Sugar, Baroness Brady and Tim that they hadn't seen. I went, but out of respect, please don't talk to me. Don't give me the tonight off. Don't talk to me. So we're filming. Ain't Carvey's trying to talk to me, and I'm thinking, Lawrence, respect what I'm saying, mate. You know what I mean? Just don't talk to me. Just let me have a day off. Let me just sulk, and I'll put my bottom lip in it morning. But he tried all night, and then we went down to have a talk about it. And I went, Lawrence, I can't talk to you, mate. I went, you're not respecting me. We'll just leave it at that. I went upstairs. Lawrence stayed downstairs, and that was it. But the way media portrayed it, like World War III, they're even trying to say that we're coming to blows. Like, chuffy now, how stupid can you be? Do you know what I mean? Why? It's just to get a story. So they just exaggerated a dispute. That's all it were. And then next day, we're back mates again. So I put my bottom lip back in.
And Tan, with your negotiation, you got fired as a result of a negotiation. Do you think that was fair? Do you think your whole experience on that?
Listen, the game is the game, right? And I think the weird part is I love negotiation, right? I've read books on negotiation, and I think it's this art form. They cut a lot of it out of the show. It didn't make the final edit. The actual negotiation, I think I was the only one who actually asked the client the questions. Like, I was trying to understand what they want. And I mentioned on Unfinished Business, it's all about know your customer. We weren't doing that at the beginning. Obviously, that didn't make the cut. And in the end, I think it was a case of just too many chefs spoiled the broth. There was 4 of us going into this negotiation, clearly no strategy, or not enough strategy. and it was just numbers. We were just firing numbers at each other. That's not negotiation. But ultimately, you got to take it on the chin, and I think probably a bit unfairly done on the balance, right? I think I wasn't the one who brought that price all the way down, but I did shake the hand. So you have to take accountability there. And clearly Lord Sugar made his decision based on that. I don't think some of the other factors might have been on his mind when he made that decision. But he only gets to hear it from us in the boardroom and Baroness Brady and Tim. He's not there on the ground with us. So maybe some of the details were missed. But yeah, you win some, you lose some.
I think on that, Tan, as well, is everybody wants to be heard because everybody wants to seem like they've done something. So if they are brought back into the boardroom, I had to help Tan out on his negotiation, even though Tan probably didn't need no help on his negotiation. People had to step in to say, so they had something in the back pocket to say. And instead of, I weren't like that. I weren't trying to jump in to try and get one over on somebody. And I think that's basically shafted Tan, to be fair. Everybody getting involved and then trying to throw somebody under the bus, but we'll not say any more on that one, shall we?
Yeah.
But that's how it is on the show. That's how it is.
And it was really interesting because I've heard from multiple candidates this thing called, editgate, or editing to suit a narrative.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? As two candidates that have been on the process, do the producers edit things to make people look worse or better than they actually are in real life?
I think, I don't think it's to make people look worse or better. I think it's just to get a story on the show, to get a reaction on the show, get people hooked on it. With me, I'll be honest, I weren't happy with my editing at all. I performed a lot better than what the show portrayed me as. But that were a narrative they went with because that's how Lord Sugar fired me. So obviously they had to make a story out of that. But I got involved a lot with. I did well on my sales, which they didn't show. I did really well as a project manager, but they made it look like I can't lead a team. Truthfully, now I used to lead men going away in that. If I can't organise 3 people about what products they're going to get, chuffy now, do you know what I mean? So I was really mad. I had a watch party on that, and I nearly walked out of my own watch party, so I was fuming when they did that. But yeah, I think it don't matter how well or good you do something, the whole pitch can just be changed. And that's how I happened with me. And I was upset with it because I thought to myself, obviously, if I don't win, hopefully there's many other investors out there think he's a switched on lad, he's on with his business, he knows what he's doing, I'm going to invest in him anyway. But the way I've got edited and everything, I feel like people think, I'm not investing in him, he was crap. So yeah, I was hurt the way I was edited, but it's all part of the show, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those, right? If it was a show where everyone did really well, who's going to watch a show where everyone's just doing perfect tasks? I mean, that's the nature of the show, right? The challenges are meant to be tough and not meant to be a chance that everyone's just going to pass them with flying colours. Yeah. I think that's part of the parcel.
It's like
parcel of the show.
Poor Harry. Harry probably only got 5 minutes, and he's the most funniest lad you'd ever meet. He's switched on, and he is a switched on lad. He got involved with everything, and they probably only gave him about 5 minutes of airtime. So I do feel sorry for Harry. I wish I had his airtime instead of mine. I would have looked better.
And it's also incredible. So, you get to spend a lot of time with Lord Sugar in the boardroom setting. How different is Lord Sugar on The Apprentice compared to how he actually is in the boardroom?
Oh, I thought he was a fairy tale character before I went on. I thought it's all just a front, and I'm sure he was just like a regular guy. But I think it's in the boardroom is the only real touch points we have with him, and he's exactly as you see him on TV, if not a bit more scary. Okay. I'm sure outside of the boardroom, he is a lovely man, but you only see that side of him.
Yeah,
and I think it's good to have that in a way. I think that makes the show. I don't know who would take his place. No,
he's known for it. He's the face of The Apprentice, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Good old Lord Sugar. But yeah, I agree with Tan there. He's what you see is what you get, like he is on telly.
So do you think The Apprentice could survive without Lord Sugar, or do you think that will probably end the show?
Do you know what? It'd be one of them you'd have to wait and see sort of thing, but I think he has become the Apprentice brand. He is The Apprentice. So I think it would be hard for somebody to step into his shoes. So it's like people still even say about Tim, because obviously he stepped in with Claude. And I have seen comments on like TikTok that people mention about Tim, or he's not like Claude or whatever. But I think Tim stepped into the role all right, to be fair. But yeah, like I say, it all depends on who they've got in there, and they've got some big shoes to fill, like, haven't they?
Yeah, for sure.
And both of you in your own ways are entrepreneurs. You're both skilled, you in the sector of AI. And you do pet, like, little...
Urns.
Yeah, urns for pets.
Yeah, pet cremation urns.
So for you two in very different stages of your entrepreneurial journeys and in two very different sectors.
Yeah.
How have you used the Apprentice to raise visibility of your own ventures that you're currently doing? And how do you plan on launching your businesses in the future? How do you plan on building them, making them bigger, scaling them? Would you be able to share that on the podcast?
So for me, business is it's not my main pursuit, right? I still work full time. I'm in the world of tech. I think it's quite current as well, right? I think we've shifted obviously from the advent of the internet now to AI. We're in a digital age, and nowadays it's about attention, and I think the nature of business has fundamentally changed. So in my day-to-day job, I'm building digital products for major organizations, mainly in government. And I still think I'm on a learning journey. I don't think I know everything yet. So I'm enjoying the pursuit of that. And I'm enjoying learning about these new technologies and also trying to apply them in responsible and ethical ways. I'm really interested in the human side of AI and how can we make this something that generates real value for people. I think AI gets quite a bad name a lot of the time. So that's my main focus. I think obviously the visibility from the Apprentice is great in terms of the business which I'm working on as well. But I think I don't think anything's going to change for me as a result of the Apprentice. I still think I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I think I want to be learning for life. I want to keep
getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, keep challenging myself, keep pushing myself. I don't know everything yet. I think that's the beauty of it, and that's a fun position to be in. So while I'm still going to engage in various pursuits, I'm still building my platform for food and drink independent spots, and still going to be working, and I've got some exciting projects planned for this year. But it's a case of just keeping that momentum going. Apprentice is one step in that.
Yeah.
It's not going to define anything.
Yeah, I agree. It's like one door closes, another one opens. The Apprentice hasn't really helped me in my business at all. If anything, obviously, because what all come out, it's penalised it. People leaving 1-star reviews. I got loads of them removed, but for some reason, some that are just absolutely pathetic are still on there. Never even been customers; they just left them out of spite. But yeah, I think for me, it's just picking myself up, getting myself going, which I am doing now, and just scaling the business. The only thing that's holding my business back is the cash flow. Obviously, because I need to buy products, import products in. That's the thing that's holding me back. I did all this bootstrapped. So I started off with £1,000 worth of stock. I've just getting in now, which coming in next couple of weeks, £36,000 worth of stock. Still don't know where I'm going to put them because I've got my loft full, my garage full, my sheds are full.
Got the ottoman, right?
Yeah, well, I got ottoman, yeah. And if they're in bedroom, Mrs. kicks off about it. But I think what people need to understand when they're building a business is you see all this get rich quick schemes and all that lot. It ain't like that. It's an absolute slog, and you got to be tenacious in it. You got to be persistent with it, and that's what I'm doing. You just got to chip away at it bit by bit, and just slowly grow it. Get your money, put it back into your business, and I'm not taking away from my business yet, because I'm scaling it. Hopefully, it gets to a point in a couple of years, but it just takes time. That's what I'm doing. Just got to be. You got to be patient. I wanted things yesterday, so it's hard when it's like that. But yeah, I think you just got to keep rolling with it.
I mean, the interesting thing is I saw both your characters on Unfinished Business, and I thought that both of you, sold yourselves very, very well outside of the show.
Oh, good. Thank you.
But on this podcast, because it's independent, what would you like people to know about you that the media might not have reported? That other people might not have reported, that shows you in maybe in a completely different light. I know that you're both two very intelligent people.
Oh, cheers, that.
I've actually looked at your LinkedIn posts. I've been going through them. That's how I knew you were doing AI and stuff. I was actually reading your posts. And same thing for you. I was going through your stuff.
Right.
So just tell me just a bit about yourselves, because this is the best opportunity to tell my audience about who you are.
Yeah, so I guess for me, right, it probably seems like I'm this corporate, got this corporate front, I'm in AI, I'm this tech whiz, right? Ultimately, with friends and like day-to-day life, I've just got quite a playful nature about me. I just, for me, business is play. Like what I do for work is play, and I enjoy it, and I'm always trying to find the fun in things. I don't like keeping too much of a serious front when I'm working. I think the whole life's so short. We should be doing things out of pursuit of joy, right? So I think that's one side of things. Of course, I'm quite competitive. I think that's drew me to the show in itself. Chess, football, poker. I just love. I think that was also play, right? Because these are all forms of games.
Yeah.
So I think if there's one thing probably that wasn't shown about me on the show is that I just love the game, and I think it's about seeing the fun in things, right? Not everything has to be so linear and straight lines and serious. Like things might be stressful, but yeah, I enjoy trying to find the joy in them. Yeah.
I think for myself, there are the editing that I did get did thought people thought I was like a grey man stood at back when I'm not a grey man. I've never been a grey man. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it really, but I'm an arduous person. I've from a young age I've had a very disruptive upbringing from a young age, and I could have gone down the wrong route, but I haven't. I stay true to myself. I stay true to who I am, and I'm just a down to earth, genuine person that's just trying to support myself and my family. But what I want to project long term is I want to go into the route of actually helping people and be a bit of a motivation where, look, you could go down this wrong route, but why don't you stick to the right route and see what you actually can get out of life instead of going down that route and blaming everybody else for your actions because of the way you were brought up. I could have done, but I haven't. I've owned up to it. Like I said before, you make mistakes, you learn from it. But yeah, I'm going back to I'm a genuine down to earth, like having a laugh. I'm competitive. Like obviously, I think most people are, especially on that show. You have to be competitive, don't you, to be on show? Mm-hmm. I'm competitive, and yeah, I'm just a sociable person. I'll get on with anyone. I'll talk to anybody. We'll go to shopping. Mrs. like, do you know her? I'll go, no. She goes, how have you just got her life story? I'm chatting away to her. And I can do that. I'm just a person that just gets on with anyone.
So Dragon's Den investor Tuka Suleiman, he mentioned that Dragon's Den is more real than The Apprentice. Do you agree? And what's your reasoning?
I think it's one of them. When you go on the show, it might be completely different. But looking back, if it were to apply for Dragon's Den or The Apprentice, obviously hindsight. If I could choose a superpower, it would be hindsight, and I'd probably apply for Dragon's Den in business. I think that'd be the right avenue for myself and my business, Dragon's Den. And you never know, you might see me on it next. What do you think?
I think they're two completely different shows, right? I think Dragon's Den is probably more representative about how a business might raise money in the real world, but The Apprentice is like nothing else. It's more of a game than anything else. And I was drawn more to the game side of things. Like, fine, the business side is great, and it's testing business skills, it's testing communication, negotiation, and various other. All the tasks are based on real business skills. If I'm honest, I think both might be a little bit removed from the real world of business. I think the nature of business today is completely different to what it was 10, 20 years ago, when a lot of these very respectable entrepreneurs who are running these shows made their names. I think now it's a digital age and it's an attention economy. And we saw on our show this year, there's a number of the candidates had really strong social media followings, and I think that's representative of the times as well. The fact that these guys have been able to scale their businesses as a result of their audiences and capturing the imagination of their following, I think that represents quite a shift compared to Lord Sugar and all the dragons. So I think the nature of business will continue to change. I don't think one show is better than another. All I can say, I was drawn to The Apprentice because it was a lot more fun, and yeah, I don't think they can be compared. So I don't know if Tuka is correct, but I think it's comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, to be fair.
And just a little bit of a game. So let's say you're on Dragon's Den. Which dragon would you want to receive investment for, and why? I'm just letting you know before you respond, they might end up commenting on this reel.
I'd like to say Stephen, because like points you've made, everybody's younger. It's like now to be successful, it's like you need you as a brand And then as soon as you go into a business, because you've already got people attracted to you as the brand, your business can fly like that. And Steve at Bartlett's done that very well. He's got his fingers in so many pies, so many different things.
I think he's understood, right, what it takes to capture an audience. And all of his pursuits, whether it's his podcast, whether it's his marketing agency, have all been in he specialised in capturing the attention of people. I mean, that's the skill nowadays, you know. So I think he represents a different archetype of dragon. But I think given the nature of, you know, business that I'm in the tech world, and it's about driving usage, trying to get people to adopt new behaviours and use tech in new meaningful ways, I think it probably aligns most with Stephen. Yeah, but I think I respect all the dragons, and if not Stephen, probably Peter.
Yeah, and if any of them do watch it, get in touch with me because I'm looking for an investor.
And, you know, on The Apprentice, they always talk about, you know, conflicts and issues with candidates. How real are the conflicts compared to actually how it's portrayed?
I think in boardroom, I think it's just pure emotion. People are trying to survive, so they'll do anything they can to survive. But then when you come back to house, I think people are like, you know what, what's happened in boardrooms happened in boardroom. We'll just leave it at that. That's the perception I got from things anyway, especially like obviously when I got brought back. You just got to get a day, bring the next task, and then it's like a water under the bridge. That's what it was like.
Yeah, I didn't really engage in too many conflicts. I think outside of the boardroom, like Levi's saying, everyone's just a family in the house.
Yeah.
The only people who ever understand the experience of being through are each other. So we have that in common, and ultimately that's always going to, at the end of the task, you go back to the house. A lot of what's happened in the day is forgotten, and you just want to relax, and you just want to talk and decompress a bit. So
when you get back to house, all you worry about is getting some food in, and if there's a washing machine free before 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask you, how did you end up getting sick on The Apprentice?
This is a tough one, because when we did the book thing, out of the group that I were in, we got one of these, they bring like people who cook for you and they bring the food. And I was the only one that ate the meal out of the group. So I don't know if it was that. Or when we got back at about 10 o'clock at night, we had some bolognese that were cooked night before. So I put that on a plate and I just threw that in microwave, and I don't know if it was from the bolognese. But all I remember, I must walk up about 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, when you got that clammy sweat and, you know, you're coming down with something, I thought, oh no, because it was boardroom day as well. I thought, oh no. And it come to 6 o'clock, I thought, I'm going to be sick here. So I went down to the bottom toilet because I thought, I don't want to wet people up. So I went straight downstairs, went to be sick. And then, yeah, it just deteriorated from there. When we were driving to boardroom, I had my head in my hands. I'm thinking, how far away? This journey is too long here. I swear it's only 20 minutes. It turns like an hour. As soon as the door opened, I went, CJ, I went, can we get out? He went, yeah. I went, good. I ran out. He moved out of the way. I just went straight into bushes. Then we went into play, because you have like a little, like a reunion bit where you just decompress a bit, get some food in, can't you? And I just had to go again. That's when they segregated me from everybody else. And I'll just lay there, just drinking water, just coming straight back up. So yeah, it were a bit of food poisoning. But like I said, I don't know if it were the chicken or the bolognese. So yeah, it were bad. I think I lost about 4 kilos in a week.
Oh wow. Yeah,
they had to get a doctor out to a hotel to come and do checks on me and everything, to check all my stats and that, because I couldn't wake up. If I did wake up, it would just go to the toilet, I had to come back. Oh, I were bad. I haven't been that bad ever. I come in like a chuffing rake. Yeah,
I remember being in the taxi with you on the way to the boardroom, and I remember seeing you get out, and I was like, this guy's not in a good way.
Well, I've got some right stick from that, you know, because people like, oh yeah, he missed out. He only got so far because he missed out on on most at TAS. I thought I missed out on boardroom that I won anyway, and I missed out on chicken and egg.
Probably a good thing you missed that task.
Yeah, do you know? Imagine that everybody going around with diarrhea and chuffing sickness around London, all because of me. So yeah, good job I missed that one.
And it's also really interesting because how have how's your visibility increased since you've been on the show?
Oh, mine's increased massively. I've never been a social media person. I I just think, right, you got to film your content and you got to do with the editing, and you think of the caption. For me, it's just too long. It's about a 2-hour task. And even if I don't post anything, I get notification like on TikTok, you've had 998 people viewed your profile. I think, chuffing hell, people really want to. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do people really want to see me? And I've never had that before. So yeah, my socials blew up. They're dying down quite a bit now, like, so obviously I'm not on telly. But yeah, it did blow up. It was quite surreal, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get a lot more traffic, right, to your social pages. I think the main thing I noticed was just recruiters. I was getting so many recruiters on LinkedIn, and getting quite a lot of opportunities for jobs and things, and collaborators who wanted to discuss what kind of work I'm doing in the world of tech. But yeah, I didn't. It's never been something I'm not trying to become some crazy influencer. I think personal brand is hugely important in this day and age, and I think you're representative of that. I think that's something that's something I'm going to try and lean into, and always asking, right, what is it you want to be known for?
Yeah.
So
I don't know about you, Tan, but I got quite a few messages for feet pictures. Unreal. People offer me 200 quid for pictures of my feet.
So you starting an OnlyFans account?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, starting it. Like, here, Rosie, just take your socks off, love. But yeah, I got so many messages for people wanting to see my feet. I thought, what is going on?
Did you send any? Or?
Can't tell you that, can I? Might go into media. These are my money makers. I don't know about you. Did you get any, Tan?
Not for feet pics.
Oh, it's something else.
I know you get some nice messages from people.
Yeah,
but yeah, nothing like that.
I mean, we can all be entrepreneurs in different ways.
That's it. I even said to our lass, I went, I might chin my earns off now. I might do only feet. No, like OnlyFans, I might do onlyfeet.com. But I think somebody's already started that. Like, damn it.
And you know what? One thing that is incredible about The Apprentice is the aspect of accountability. Whether you're a project manager, whether you fail on a task, you have to be accountable in what you're doing. In terms of your own individual journeys and the aspect of accountability, how has this helped you in your own careers? In terms of driving your own destiny, very much being in charge of your own decision making. How has this all helped you and built you?
I don't know whether the show directly impacted it, but I think it does highlight the fact that you need to go and chase what it is you want. If you have an opportunity, I didn't sadly get the opportunity to be a PM or a sub PM, but I think when the opportunity presents itself, you need to grab it by the horns. I think that's I'm a big believer in initiative, right? In my field of work, it's not a case where you're just waiting for someone to tell you what to do. I'm largely responsible for being the person who is, trying to experiment with new things, or trying to just take the initiative and going off and doing something and then coming back and getting feedback on it. So yeah, I think that's always been the mindset. I don't think the show necessarily influenced that.
I think taking accountability is one of the best assets you can have, because it's easy to do something wrong then throw somebody else under the bus because of your actions. So yeah, I think taking accountability is one thing, because you learn from it, don't you? If you go through your life making mistakes but you're blaming other people, what do you actually learn from that? Nothing. So yeah, taking accountability, being a leader is taking accountability. If something goes wrong, yeah, that's my bad. So yeah, I think it's a good asset to have. I've always took accountability for my actions. I've learned that as I've been growing up as well, and I just don't. Puts people on the wrong side if they said something and they don't take accountability. I just think you're not a true person. You're not a genuine person. So yeah, I like to take accountability, 'cause it's what you need to do, don't you, to go where you need to get in life.
It's really incredible. And you were actually a PM.
Yes, I was. Week 8. To be fair though, I put my hand up for every project to be project manager on every task, apart from. Or the what was that one that Connor did? The water one. I didn't put my hand up for that. That's way out my zone. Because I thought if I'm going to get fired, I want to get fired at least trying to be a project manager or something. Luckily, Low Sugar put me as project manager, and I'm glad I got that win, because I think Kieran said, I don't know if it meant edit. Kieran went, seeing as Lawrence failed to get rid of Levi, I'm going to get rid of him this week.
Oh wow!
Yeah, when they were doing the meeting, I don't know if they put it in show. I can't remember, but so yeah, I'm glad that I got that win, because I can lead. Like I said before, I can lead people. I know how to plan. But like I said, what I said on the show was, look, I'm not an authoritarian leader. I'll listen to people, but what I said at the end of it is, but what I say is final. But I'm happy to hear what you've got. I'm happy to hear what you think. But yeah, what I say is final, but they didn't put that in. They made me go, But we had a good plan from start to finish. I knew where I was going to put people from the off, because I knew what people were good at, what they weren't. And yeah, we won. I think because of that, we won it.
And even for you, you know, what do you think were some of your best moments during your apprentice? What do you think were some of the best decisions you made that probably didn't make the edit, or some of the best decisions you made?
Can I step in on that one, please?
Both of you can, yeah.
If you don't mind.
Please do, yeah.
When we were in Hong Kong, so we had a choice between getting the taxi up to the finish line or getting the cart across. And we were like $5 Hong Kong dollars or 50 Hong Kong dollars, something like that. I was the sub-team leader, and I were like, with time going against us, don't want to be penalised, don't want to be fined. And I were a bit like, lads, what do you want to do here? People, let's get cart. Tanmay, we were like, nah, I think if we stay in the car, Levi, we've got plenty of time. So we all spoke about it, and it was that decision that that decision saved us money, and we got there on time, didn't we? So that one moment I remember from Tan on being on task one.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, mate.
Yeah, I think the first task was good fun, right? We had a good group, and I think it was the first task that's full of excitement. We're trying to obviously win. We were driving around. We were it was a bit crazy. Running through Hong Kong is just nuts for the first episode. So that was great fun. I think task 2, there was a moment where Marcus swapped myself and Dan around due to bickering or something. So I was a bit upset about that. I think I was excited to be part of a pitching team. I think I do that day in, day out. So I obviously didn't get a chance to shine on that particular task. Of course, the negotiation obviously didn't have the result we wanted, but speaking to corporate clients again is something I enjoy doing, and they cut a lot of that out. They cut a lot of it out of the negotiation. But you know, I was only there for 3 tasks, right? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all. So I think every little segment of each episode, I would just embrace it. Whether it's something I want to be doing or not, let me just go into it with full energy, enthusiasm. I ended up going to the school and talking to the kids, and I was sat on the floor like, and they're giving me awful feedback, but I was still having a great time. Yeah. So
I think that's one thing I've got to be thankful for the Apprentice is from my background. I've been manual labour. Then I went to RAF, and then I did manual labour work again in construction to an HGV driver. I've never had an idea about the blue collar side of things, like office type of stuff. So like another thing that put me on back foot, because there's people here who've got plenty of experience being corporate. But I don't sound corporate for starters, so I thought that's put me on back foot. So I am thankful of the Apprentice for giving me that idea and that insight, because he's helping me towards my business now. So yeah, it took me out of my comfort zone massively. Probably one of the biggest out of my comfort zones I've ever been on the show. But yeah, it's grown me in that area, and I'm thankful for the Apprentice of that.
And I think for both of your industries, you're going to have to utilise AI. I know it's your area of expertise. I know that you're going to have to use it as well.
Yeah.
How do you think AI is going to be a game changer in the business world, particularly for businesses that need to do like lots of deliveries, or they need to, you know, get a lot of merchandise and things out, and also for businesses that kind of operate in the area of AI and doing sales through that platform? I know that you're really good at that. That's your expertise, and I know that you're going to have to use it for your earns. So please, can you both talk to me about that?
I think AI is going to be a double-edged sword. It's going to put people out of work, but it's going to make businesses more efficient. There's going to be more money in there. There's going to be less mistakes in place, because obviously human error has been took out of the equation there. So yeah, I think AI is going to be good for businesses, but it's also going to be bad for some businesses because they're not obviously going to be employing staff. But you're more experienced than me in this area, Tam. That's just me as an outsider looking in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this whole notion of AI is going to take everyone's jobs and things. I think AI is a tool at the end of the day. It's like the internet. When the internet came around, it changed the nature and the foundations of business in the sense that a lot of e-commerce could rise, and it gave rise to a huge organization like Amazon, Apple. I think AI is another revolution like the internet.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to... we shouldn't confuse AI with automation of everything, right? I think they're two distinct things. AI is effectively a machine able to leverage some kind of intelligence to carry out a task, right? And nowadays the whole hype is around ChatGPT and large language models, which can generate human sounding text. So that raises a huge number of opportunities. So things like the chatbots we interact with on a day-to-day basis, but businesses can leverage that to improve their marketing, to improve their content. So what I like to think of it is that AI will hopefully help reduce the number of mundane tasks that need to be done and repetitive tasks to free up humans to focus on more creative tasks where we actually have to use our own judgment. I think that is what makes us human. That's what we have to think about. What separates us from a machine is our creativity and our judgment and our taste, and be able to connect dots in a way that only humans can do, right? So I think it's going to create a huge number of new opportunities. There may be certain jobs which may change or may become redundant almost, because there's a stat that also says in the next 50 years, half the jobs in the next 50 years don't even exist yet. We don't even know what they are. So it's going to give rise to a whole number of new opportunities. And I think we have to be cautious about it. We have to implement it in responsible ways. But I think it's a bit of a buzzword that's thrown around and probably scaremongers people thinking, oh, what does this mean for my job and my life? I think people need to understand it. I think people need to be almost open to change. I think there will be a lot of change. But ultimately, it's something which has been shaped by us, and the responsibility lies with, I guess, the practitioners of it to shape it in the safe and meaningful ways while maintaining all the ethical angles. And I think it's a really exciting time. Yeah. This is the biggest compared to the Industrial Revolution. This is going to change the fabric of the world, and I think I feel good to be on the side of trying to craft it in the right way. So I think that's a lot of responsibility, and ultimately I'm not the one building a lot of these models like these huge tech firms are, right? I think I'm ultimately a practitioner. How do we use it in the right ways, in the meaningful ways? So a lot of change, I guess, but I think a lot of opportunity.
I just think it's mad how, obviously we're millennials. I'm 34, it's grew up with AOL dial-up, and then suddenly it's gone into broadband. And then you got like obviously your smartphones, and now it's AI. I think we're living in a phenomenal generation, to be fair, for technology. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? With everything that's coming, how slow everything was before the internet to now how everything's expanded, and now AI is just going to enhance everything like that and just excel everything.
Well, you know, it's really interesting that you're talking about AI, because I think that's one thing that's fascinating about what you're both saying is we do know that AI is going to, you know, cut some jobs. But from somebody who's an expert in AI, such as yourself, Tan, do you think that could also increase the rich-poor divide? Because some people can only do repetitive jobs, warehouse workers, some people, retail staff, you know, front of house. Mm-hmm. How do you think, I know you're not a political commentator or an economist, but how do you think, you know, firms can mitigate that so they can give people who might do repetitive tasks the opportunity to also be skilled to use AI?
Yeah, I still think a lot of the jobs you mentioned, right, they're not going anywhere in terms of front of house, and there's going to have to remain a human touch in a lot of these fields. I mean that is a concern, right? There's if the people who are building these models and generating the revenues from them, that pool is quite small, right? And if as AI grows and the use of AI from corporations increases, the resources generated from the use of AI are going to be focused in a smaller and smaller pool of people. So there is that risk, right, that only those people will benefit from it. Of course, I'm not a political commentator. I think there's this future vision of, you know, let's say AI is able to automate so many of these mundane jobs. There's a golden vision, right? Let's say there's this UBI, Universal Basic Income. Everyone receives that regardless. And this is probably a long way away. But that is some kind of utopian idea where we develop it to such an extent everyone can reap the benefits from it, and that's going to come from the political. That's going to come from the people in positions of political power, right? And I think that's going to look different for each country. But yeah, I think there's always going to be a need for the human touch. That can't be replaced. You know, let's say there's and I hope the new jobs that come up. Let's say there's an AI that can help automate some factory task, right? There's still going to be hopefully there's going to be an equal amount of new jobs, such as how do you tune AI, how do you, and in adjacent fields as well. You know, I think that's an ongoing discussion. I think it's political, economical, and I hope that it doesn't just result in this huge power imbalance.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much. And the last couple of questions I'd like to ask you is, how can people connect with you both on social media?
Oh, you can connect with me, but I'm not sending any feet photos. I'm obviously on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. I've got 2 accounts on Instagram. One's private, obviously family and that, and then I've got an open one, so that's official Levi Hague. I think that's the same on my Instagram as well, but can connect with me. I'm more than happy. I try and message people back as and when I can, but I'm not really that active on it. But that is one of my goals, to get more active on it, enjoy it, and just start like producing content a bit more, and not being like a Neanderthal and staying away from it all.
For me, yeah, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Instagram. They're the main 2 I use. I'm not a huge TikToker at the moment. May venture in the future. But
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for coming on. It's been an absolute privilege basically to have you both on the podcast.
No, I enjoyed
both of
it.
your expertise and areas. It's been a real privilege.
No, cheers for having us. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Been good seeing you as well, Tan.
likewise,
Been a while, hasn't it?
yeah.